The first sensation that jolts you awake is not cold, not wind, but a thick, suffocating heat that clings to every inch of your skin. There is no gentle breeze, no cool shade to retreat into, only dry, scorching air that scrapes at your throat the moment you draw a breath. Your lips crack instantly, parched beyond relief. The palm of your hand presses against the ground, and raw stone sears into your flesh, radiating stored heat from a sun that hangs low and heavy in the haze. This is not the ancient world you learned about in books. This is something older, heavier, and far more hostile to human life. No rain falls from the sky, yet dark. Swollen clouds hang low over the horizon, pressing down like a heavy stone lid over the entire land. The ground beneath your feet is lined with fine cracks, spreading outward like a dormant wound waiting to split open. Birds fly unnaturally low, no longer circling high above the valleys, their cries muted and nervous. In the distance, faint whispers drift on the hot wind, quiet and restrained, never rising to a normal speaking tone. No laughter echoes, no loud arguments break out. A strange hush hangs over everything, as if the world itself is holding its breath, waiting for something inevitable to unfold. The flood has not arrived, but the world already carries the stench of ruin. A slow, deep tremor rolls through the earth, not from thunder, not from a landslide. It is a rhythmic vibration, steady and heavy, traveling through stone and soil straight into your bones. Dust slides down the rough rock walls beside you, settling in thin gray layers on the dry ground. Water, in a small hollow nearby, ripples, without wind, trembling in perfect time with a distant movement. Whatever walks beyond the hills is far too large to be any ordinary beast, far too powerful to belong to the natural order you once knew. You did not just travel back in time, you stepped into a world where humanity no longer sets the rules. If you woke up in this sweltering, silent pre-flood land with no map, no weapon, and no clue where to go, what would be your very first move to stay alive? You follow the faint whispers toward a cluster of low, cramped huts, huddled against the base of a rocky hill. This is a human camp, but it bears no resemblance to any settlement you know. The huts are built low to the ground, their roofs sloped, to avoid drawing attention from above. Every resident moves with hunched shoulders, eyes fixed on the dirt beneath their feet. No one stands tall, no one gazes toward the distant hills. Mothers clamp their children's mouths shut at the slightest unfamiliar sound. Elders press muddy clay onto travelers' clothes, masking their scent to keep them hidden from unseen watchers. Night fires are never lit here. Darkness is not a threat to these people. It is a shield. Light, they have learned, only draws the attention of things far greater and far crueler than any wild animal. An old man with weathered skin sits beside you, his voice barely above a breath as he speaks of the beings that rule this age. He repeats words passed down through generations. In those days, and also afterward, the Nephilim walked the earth. They are called mighty men of old, men of renown. But renown, the elder murmurs, is only the polite name humanity gives to unshakable fear. These are not mere warriors, not ordinary giants. They are the product of a line crossed between the sons of God and the daughters of humans. A boundary broken that was never meant to be touched. According to ancient tradition, forbidden knowledge spilled into the world through these beings, twisting human civilization before the flood ever arrived. The world did not break with the rain. It broke long before, under the shadow of the Nephilim. Another deep tremor surges through the ground closer this time. The camp falls utterly silent, every head bowing lower, every breath held tight. The patrol of Nephilim is passing nearby, and to be seen is to be claimed. Two paths open before you in this moment. Option 1, merge into the line of laborers marching toward the giant city, blend into the crowd, become one of the silent, overlooked workers bound to their rule. Option 2, slip away into the dry riverbed beyond the camp, vanish into the desolate wilderness, trading the risk of being seen for the danger of heat and starvation. Two dangerous choices, no perfect escape. Would you blend into the human labor line to stay invisible, or flee into the empty wilderness to gain distance from the giants? You follow the labor procession toward the massive stone city rising from the plain, and immediately realize it was never designed for humans. The outer walls tower impossibly high, stacked with monolithic stones. No modern machine could easily move. The stone steps leading to the gates are far too tall for human legs. Travelers are forced to climb on hands and knees just to ascend. Doorways stand like small valleys, thresholds rising halfway up an adult human's chest. Carvings of colossal humanoid figures cover every pillar and wall, their faces stern, their frames dominating every corner of the city. Humans do not belong here. They are merely allowed to linger in the narrow shadows between giant structures, existing only to serve, to build, to obey. All vital resources in the city are locked under Nephilim control. Central wells are fenced off, guarded by loyal human servants who answer only to the giant rulers. Granaries sit close to the inner city, reserved for the Nephilim and their followers, while common humans receive only small, meager rations to survive. The city gates never fully open. They shift only to let labor caravans pass, always under the watch of giant sentinels. The true danger here is not just the towering Nephilim. It is the humans who have accepted this order, who enforce the rules of the giants upon their own kind. While hiding within the city's narrow alleyways, you discover a narrow stone tunnel carved beneath the outer wall. Cool air drifts from the darkness, carrying the faint sound of running water, and for a moment, you believe you have found a way out of the giant's domain. You slip into the tunnel, moving quietly through the dim passage, only to realize the truth as dust shakes loose from the ceiling. This is no escape route. It is a tribute passage, built to move human offerings and supplies straight into the heart of the giant patrol zone. Heavy footsteps thunder above the stone ceiling, vibrations shaking the narrow tunnel. You press your body flat against the cold rock, holding your breath, realizing even the hidden paths of this world are designed to serve the Nephilim, not free humanity. You thought the secret tunnel was your escape, but it leads straight into the giant patrol zone. Would you backtrack quietly into the city, or push forward and risk crossing beneath their feet? You slip out of the giant city under the cover of fading daylight, fleeing back toward the cracked wilderness. Far across the parched hills, a slow, steady hammering cuts through the quiet. Slow, deliberate strokes. Unlike the clatter of labor or the roar of ritual ceremonies, it echoes across the dry riverbeds and scorched plains, a persistent rhythm that feels out of place in this age of giant rule. No war drums, no cries of labor, just one man striking wood, over and over, on land where rain rarely comes anymore. You climb a small rise and spot the source of the sound, a massive wooden framework taking shape on the hillside, built by a lone man ignored and mocked by those who pass by. The crowds of travelers and laborers sneer at him, calling him foolish for building a giant vessel on dry ground. He pays no mind to the taunts, no glance toward the giant city, no bow to the Nephilim that rule the land. He works in quiet persistence, as if listening to a countdown no one else can hear. In a world that bows to giant power, he is the only one who refuses to submit to the broken order of the pre-flood age. As you watch the builders' work unfold, the atmosphere shifts around you. The dry scorch of the heat fades into a heavy, muggy dampness that clings to your skin. The cracked earth exhales faint wisps of moist vapor, rising to merge with the low-hanging black clouds. Animal herds move in unbroken lines toward the distant mountains, no longer scattered or grazing freely. Birds settle on the ground, instead of perching in trees, their restlessness palpable. The world has not yet seen a single drop of rain, but every sign screams that the old world is nearing its end. Your body reaches its limit at this moment, feet raw from hot stone, tongue stuck to the roof of your mouth, lungs burning with every breath of damp, dusty air. The distant hammering grows louder, pounding in your chest like a quiet warning. A lone man builds a boat on dry land while the world mocks him. Do you trust his quiet preparation, or stick to the safety of the giant-controlled city that has survived for generations? The steady hammering does not go unnoticed. Deep rumbling footsteps draw closer from the direction of the giant city, slow and deliberate, as if the Nephilim have turned their attention to a strange structure on the hillside. The birds fall silent instantly. The wandering crowds freeze mid-step, daring not to move, daring not to speak. Even the wind stills, leaving only the unbroken sound of the hammer and the distant tremor of giant strides. The quiet hope of the ark has now drawn the gaze of the age's rulers. A single drop of water falls from the heavy clouds, striking the dry dust at your feet. It does not splash away, but sinks into the parched earth, leaving a dark, tiny stain. A second drop lands on the back of your hand, cool and heavy, a stark contrast to the endless heat you have endured. The distant valley rumbles, not with thunder, but with the low groan of shifting earth. The Nephilim pause their advance, standing motionless as they gaze up at the sky. For the first time, the bowed masses of humanity lift their heads, staring at the clouds that herald the end of their age. Two paths lie before you now, both carrying deadly consequences. You can sprint across the open plain toward the Ark's entrance, rushing into the only hope of survival. Yet you will be fully exposed to the gaze of the giant patrol and the watching crowds. Or you can retreat into the narrow stone canal beside the hills, hiding in the low-lying shadows to wait for the chaos of the coming rain. You stay concealed from the giants, but the low ground will be the first to flood once the downpour begins, trapping you with no escape. There is no perfect option, no safe path, no guaranteed survival. Every decision carries a price. Every step shapes whether you outlive the age of the Nephilim. This is your final choice. What do you do?